Okay, Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Say. It just started almost 25 seconds ago. Okay, Chadwe. I want to share with you, Rabbi Say, also two ma'arals on this week's Pasha, short ones. But let's start with something which we already touched upon in previous years for another Nakuda here. Let's give a look in Perek Gimel, Pasuk Aleph. Okay, Shalom Aleichem to everyone. Perek Gimel, Pasuk Aleph. Ve'ele told us Aaron and Moshe, B'yom diber Hashem es Moshe Bahar Sinai. These are the children of Aaron and Moshe on the very day that Hashem spoke to Moshe and Har Sinai. Ve'ele shmois b'nei Aaron, Habchor Nadav, V'avihu Elazar ve'Isamar. So there's no mention of the children of Moshe. So says Rashi, the Eile told us Aaron and Moshe. Okay, Shalom Aleichem Avi. What? Another Levi, yeah. Yeah, the brothers. Okay, so we're starting, Rabbi said, with Perek Gimel, Pasuk Aleph and Beis. It says in Perek Gimel, Pasuk Aleph, these are the children of Aaron and Moshe. And then it only lists the children of Aaron. So what does Rashi say on that? Ve'ela told us Aaron and Moshe. Ve'ino maskir ela b'nei Aaron. Ve'nikru'u told us Moshe. Lefi shelimdan Torah. Because Moshe Rabbeinu taught him Torah. Melamed shekol ha-melamed has been chaver Torah. Ma'ale levakosu ki ilu yiladai. So meaning the children of Aaron are also the children of Moshe. Because he taught them Torah. Okay, what we say. Before we go, now there's another pasuk that says that Talmidim are called children. It's another pasuk, another medrash, another everything. Anybody knows what I'm referring to? Very good. So let's give a look at Boisai in Pashas Vaischanan, Perek Vav, Pasuk Zayin. So let's give a look. In Perek Vav, Pasuk Zayin, again, on my Chumash, we only have the same print. Tav Kuf Nun Aleph, V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, says Rashi, Levanecha, the second Rashi in the Pasuk Zayin, Eilu HaTalmidim, these are students, Matzinu b'chol makom shal Talmidim kruim bonim, shenemar bonim atem la'Hashem Elokechem. So, why are we called the children of Hashem? What's the right from there? Why are we the Talmud? Why are we called the children of the Eibishter? Because we learn from it. Meaning, why are we called? No, but why us? Why us more than anyone else? No. Why us more than anyone else? Again, Bani Batem LaHashem Lokechem. So it's something unique about Am Yisrael. If it's He created us, that would be also with Goyim. So what's unique to Am Yisrael? Torah. So the pasuk Banim Atem LaHashem Elokechem is a source that Talmidim are called Banim. Wow. And then Rashi brings other sources. Bnei Anivim. Okay. Now if I say, is there any difference between these two limudim? Kol ha-melamed is ben chaver Torah ki ilu yiladai. Ha-talmidim kruim banim. Isn't that the same idea? What's the chelik? It's two different chazals. The Rashi in this week's parasha is a Gemara in Sanhedrin of Yutes Amud Beis. The Rashi in Parashat Vaischanan is the Sifri. The Rashi in this week's parasha, we learn it from the story of Bnei Aaron and Moshe. The Rashi in Parashat Vaischanan has nothing to do with Aaron and Moshe. Just Banim Atem LaHashem Elokechem. That means Talmidim are called Banim. And V'shinantam levanecha means Talmidim. What are these two sources? התלמידים קרויים בנים, כל המלמד בין חבר התורה כאילו ילדי. One of the two sources. Furthermore, I come from a bes medrash that we were taught that the Goin and the Maral who preceded him are on the same wavelength. There are some machlokes between the Maral and the Goin, but very, very few. And the Maral says on the Rashi in this week's Parsha, the truth is Rashi himself says it. On Kol HaMalamed has been Chaver Torah Kilu Yoladoi, says Rashi. Let's go back to here. B'yom Diber Hashem Moshe, Perek Gimel Pasuk Aleph, Nasu Eila Toladot Shelo, Shelimdan Mashalom Mipi Agvura. On that very same day, Moshe Rabbeinu taught them 5 minutes. Then he taught them. Right? B'yom Diber Hashem Moshe Nasu Eila Toladot Shelo. On that very day, they became his children. The way the Goyen quotes it down in the Shulchan Aruch. So Rav Hotan learns Misidur Divrei Hagra in the Pachad Yitzchak Maimar Kaftes that a Talmidim Kruim Banim is only a Talmud Muvak, not a one-off. So these two Chazals, which look pretty similar, but there's a world of a difference between them. The Maral says that at Kinu Yuladoi, that was, Rashi really says it, B'yom Diber Hashem, on one go, like the Mishnah Pirkei Avos, Kol HaMalamed Afilu Ois Echad, whatever, he has to call him Rebbe. Meidach Yisrael Talmidim Kruim Banim is only a Talmud Muvak. Talmud Muvak means they learned a lot by his Rebbe. I'm sorry? Yeah, right. So what's going on over here? The Rabbi said the best thing always in these kind of things is to look in the words of Rashi. I mean, the best thing would be if we could speak to Rashi. But if there's any technical difficulty to do that, look at the words. Kilu Yelodoi Kruim Banim. Yelodoi Banim. Is that the same thing with you or not?
No.
What's the difference?
Yelodoi is like חד פעמי.
אתה ממש מדבר עברית. לא? חד פעמי, רב כדורי. זה אחרי ששכחת? וואו. So the kids are, with every father and son relationship, there's two steps. There's the actual Leda, which is chad pami, the way you say it. How would you say in English chad pami? One time. And then there's the constant investment in the chinuch and an investment in gidul and staying up at nights and going and taking care and bringing it. Two different things. There's a one-time thing, which is the Leda, and then there's a constant investment. That's what happens between every father and son. Similarly, you have that also in Torah. Namely, that you could say once a word to someone, and he mamish gets inspired, and he's alive from it, and he got his chiyus from it. Like a son gets his chiyus from his father. But then comes the binyan. The binyan, the netiyah, working on it, that's a big avodah. Sha'talmidim kruim banim comes from the word binyan. Al tikri banaich, ela boinaich. That's a binyan. You don't do that overnight. You don't build a building overnight. That's an avodah. And that's Sha'talmidim kruim banim. Says the Goyen, that's a Talmud Muvak. This is nurturing the whole time. But then you have Kilu Yelodoi, as if he gave birth. Gave birth is a one-off, a one-time thing. And that happened on the first day. So it's really complementing each other, the two Rashis. One is Kilu Yelodoi, because the word told this is the root Yalad. And one is Veshinantim Levanecha, that's Binyan. Fine. So there's no machlokes between the Maral and the Goyen. I one day maybe want to make a special avodah comparing the Maral and the Goyen. I think it's fascinating. The Goyen never quoted the Maral, but his Talmidim did. And the Mishmedrash of the Goyen, they quote him. So, okay, now that's one good up. Rabbi, so which basic question could you ask on this Rashi? Why are the children of Aaron called the children of Moshe? Because he taught them Torah. The Kol HaMelamed as Ben Chaver Torah. So the Maral explains in the Sibut, what does it mean Ben Chaver? That he's not yet a self-Talmud Chacham of his own. Rather, he's still being formative, the formative stages. Kilu Yeladai. What's the most basic kasha they ask here? Oh, Ari says he taught Kol Yisrael Torah. So what's unique about his nephews? You're mentioning the 4 nephews because he taught them Torah, but he's called Moshe Rabbeinu. He's not called Moshe Rabbeinu. Why not? Because he taught us. He taught all of us. In fact, Rabbi, you know how he taught us? What was the order? Stam Kedek to know. It's a Mishnah in Eruvin. Give a look at the end of Parshas Kisisa. Stam, just to know what really happened there. In Perek Lamed Dal, Pasuk Lamed Beis in Shmos, on page Reish Pei Gimel, according to the edition that we have here. Let's give a look. It could be. Here, Pasuk Lamed Beis. You see? Achar Kach Nikshu. Achar shelimed the Skenim, Choyzel Lamed the Parsha Olach Yisrael. Tanu Rabbanan, Kate said the Mishnah, how did the actual teaching go on? Moshe Yah Lomed Pi Gvura. First of all, Moshe Rabbeinu learned from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nichnas Aaron, Shon Ola Moshe Pilkoi. Aaron came in, and Moshe taught him. Nistalek Aaron, Yoshev Lo L'Smol Moshe, and he sat on the left side of Moshe. Nichnasu Banav of Aaron, Shanale Moshe Pilkoi. So he taught them a third time. Nistalku Em Yeshua Eliezer Liyamin Moshe, V'Yisrael L'Smol Aaron. Nichnasu Skenim, Shanale Moshe Pilkoi. Niskunu Eskenim, and they took their seats on the Mizrach. Nichnasu Kol Ha'am, Shana Le Moshe Pilkam. Nimtza biyad Kol Ha'am Echad, biyad Eskenim Shnaim, biyad Bnei Aaron Shloisha, biyad Aaron Haba, Ki De'isa Ba'eruvin. So Moshe Rabbeinu taught all of us there. So how come we're not all called his children? Yeah, that's a good kasha. Yeah, how come they're not mentioned? It's Miskayim through Aaron, but what about his own children? It's a good kasha. I don't have a teretz. But Rabbi say, why is he called? Why are only the children of Aaron called his children? Why not called Klal Yisrael? You know what? If you mention the 4 children, you should mention now here 600,000 names. Should be the yellow pages of Manhattan, because he taught all of us there. So what's unique about these 4? That kasha Rabbi said the Maral asks. I'll read you what he says.
Okay.
On this page, it's on page Chav. At the end of page Chav, the Im Toimar, question. V'chi lahem levad limed, v'alo lekol Yisrael limed. You akol told yourself. So all of us should be his children. V'yesh loimar. Tishani Yisrael shara Kodesh Baruch Hu tziba lo shilamedem Torah. Because Baruch commanded him to teach him Torah. But Torah nitna leMoshe lo nitna ela lamed Yisrael Torah. The Torah was given to Moshe only for that purpose, to teach Am Yisrael. Lo sheich lomar sheYisrael hem banav. So you can't say that Am Yisrael are his children. Shilmalei lo hayu Yisrael, if it wouldn't have been for Am Yisrael, lo haya Torah nitna leMoshe. The Torah would have been given to Moshe to start with. Meaning, what's the Maral saying? To be called father and son, the father has to be first and the son has to be second. Who's the cause and who's the effect? The father's the cause, the son's the effect. But if the son played some kind of role before, so it's not called father and son. Because of Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu got the Torah to start with. If it wouldn't have been for Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't have gotten the Torah also. So how could you say that we are the cause for Moshe to receive the Torah? Once Moshe received the Torah, he taught us. So we're going to become the sons? And Moshe is the father? Who brought who here? Who's the chicken, who's the egg? Because there's Yisrael, the Torah was given to Moshe. Then Moshe taught it to Yisrael. So how could you say that as a result of... Because we were number 1, Moshe was number 2, and then we're again number 3. So how could you say that the relationship between 1 and 2 will be son and father? It goes the other way around. Nachon? That's what the Maral is saying here, again in this lesson. תשנה ישראל, שהרי הקדוש ברוך הוא ציווה לו שילמד להם תורה. והתורה שניתנה למשה לא ניתנה אלא ללמד לישראל תורה. He got it only for that purpose. לא שייך לומר שישראל הם בניו, שאלמלא לא היו ישראל, if it wouldn't have been for עם ישראל, לא היה התורה ניתנה למשה. Moshe wouldn't have gotten it in the first place. So Moshe can't be A and Am Yisrael B when Am Yisrael were the cause that Moshe got the Torah. How could a son come before his father? You know, I say there's a big veer in Vienna that they have a bank. What's his name there? A Frumiyid? What? It could be. And once the son told me something. The father opened up the bank, I think after World War II or a little bit later, and the father was already nifter, and now the son took over. Maybe it's called Finkelstein. He says he never agreed to, he's I think a philanthropist, he never agreed to speak it anywhere, excluding Chaim Berlin. Because he learned in Chaim Berlin as a macher in New York. And when he spoke to in Chaim Berlin, he said, and I heard about it, it made a big impression. He said, you know what's the most important thing for a businessman? The most important thing is timing. Timing is the key issue. He knows when to get involved, not to get involved, and I excel in timing. That's my koach. I'm really so special, and he's starting to praise himself in front of over 1,000 people that he excels in timing. And he said, you know why I excel so much in timing? I allowed my father to be born first, and I came afterwards. And I took from my father all what he built. But my father did everything, and I came afterwards just the ash of it. That's called timing. He told me that joke, and he said it over. It's not good funny. His father made the whole wealth, and then he just dashed in it. Isn't that called timing? That's what he said. So a son has to come after a father. But here Yisrael, to a certain degree, came before Moshe. Because of Yisrael, Moshe got the Torah. So how could you say Yisrael a result of that? What happened though with his nephews? אבל מה שלימד לבני אהרון, יויסר ממה שלימד לישראל, זה היה ממשה לבד. Moshe tutored his nephews beyond his job description. ולא נצטווה מפי הגבול ללמד להם יויסר. He was not told by Hashem to do it. It's not part of that deal that this is given to you for this purpose. It's not. ובזה למפרט כאילו ילדם. So to the 4 children of Aaron HaKohen, he's Taka father. Because nothing preceded Moshe Rabbeinu's teachings. On his own free volition, he took his 4 nephews on that very day and taught them Torah beyond what he had to teach them. And when he did that, if he wasn't mitzvah, look at holding on till now very nicely. Very nicely. What?
How do you know that he taught them?
That's what the Rambam saying. That's what it means. Because otherwise, why are you singling them out more than others? אבל מה שלימד לבני אהרון יותר ממה שלימד לישראל, זה היה ממשה לבד. ולא נצטווה מפי הגבול ללמד להם יותר. That wasn't Hashem telling him. ובזה להם בפרט כאילו ילדם. Meaning the Am Yisrael that he taught, that was the arrangement. That's the deal. You'll get the Torah to teach Am Yisrael. So when he gets the Torah and teaches Am Yisrael, you can't say Am Yisrael is a new beginning. It's a hemshech to what happened earlier. Masha'en Ken. What? Right. Masha'en Ken with the 4 nephews, that he totally did on his free volition. And that's why he's potter. Avi, today Duke Richard's not here today. Give him a sir. Call him up. I'm just kidding. Just remember, most of what I say here is kidding. Nothing should be taken serious. I mean, chutz to the Divrei Torah Beis Hashem. But the other things, please, it's just banter of teenagers. I'm with teenagers already for 44 years. You know, Rav Shach used to say, when you teach young people, you remain young. That's what he would say. Here's B'zeh. You remain maybe a little bit immature. That's also part of it. Okay, Rabbi Chol, isn't that Emes? What are you talking about? Rabbi Chol does it. Okay.
There's no, I'm probably off the topic here, but Ein Melech B'Lion, is that same idea
No.
totally off?
No.
Because you put it on to do
No, that's the different thing.
different.
Different thing. Okay.
Same idea.
Beseder Gomer. Now, Rabbi say, Lama gave weiter. This is the good. I want to share with you another Maral now, which I'll tell you right now, it's so unknown because he says it in 3-4 words. In the end of something in the Gur he's going to speak about Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni. I'll tell you soon what he's going to say. And I remember I once spoke with a Godel B'Torah, and the Godel B'Torah's Maral. He says, I'm not aware this Maral exists. I told him, I understand you, because it's mentioned in the Gur in Bamidbar only once. Usually when the Maral says an idea, he repeats it elsewhere. This one he doesn't. And he has a whole sefer dedicated to Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, Churban, and Geula. Netzach Yisrael. He doesn't say that either there. Let me show you what we're talking about. Let's go to the Rashi, to the Pasuk Perek Dal, the Pasuk Yud Gimel. You see a murder in a kuda. In the beginning, it's, Pasuk Pshat. What does it say in Perek Dal, Pasuk Yud Gimel? V'tishnu et ha-mizbeach, u'farsu alav beged arkoman. What does v'tishnu mean, says Rashi? Yitlu et ha-deshen me'alav. Meaning they're going to remove the ashes. Again, like in Lashon HaKodesh, you can have the same shorish which are opposites. L'dashen means ashes. To remove the ashes is also called. Give me another example, somebody to the seaside. The same shorish and it's dover v'yipuchai. Shorish and l'sharesh. L'sakel. Et ha'avanim. And l'skol is to throw the avanim. Good. Nifkad v'yipaked. Nifkad is missing. Nifkad Makomo, Yipaged. But there's a reason. When you count people, you can notice who's missing or who's not. There's always a reason. Dvash v'dvish. Or, what does Boreach mean in Hebrew? To run away. What does Boreach mean? A lock, that you can't run away. You lock it away, that you can't. It's very common in Lashon HaKodesh that you have the same shorish for Dover v'yipuchai. The same thing is here with the dashen. Usually dashen means to put ashes. Here it means to remove the ashes. Next Rashi. U'pasu alav beged argoman. Ve'esh she'yarda min hashamayim. So it says we're speaking about how they would, pack the kelim on a journey. Ve'esh she'yarda min hashamayim, but there was a fire there. Revutza. How do you translate the word revutza in English? Crouch. Very good. Tachat ha'beged. Ke'ari was under the beged like a line. B'sha'at ha'masaot ve'einan sofan, ve'eino sofan, and the fire doesn't burn this beged. Shayu kofin alav psachter shenechoshet. They would cover it with a box of browns. That's what Rashi says. Now the Gemara says in Maseches Yuma that in Bayis Rishon the fire was crouching. Crouching? That's the word? Like a line. The Bayis Sheni was crouching like what? Like a kelev, like a dog. And here the Ram goes explains what does that mean? A lion and a dog. Okay. I'm starting from the middle. Mashaya ka'ari rovetz dafka b'tzura zot u'b'migdash sheni rovetz kekelev, like the Gemara says in Maseches Yoma. So Ari is crouching in a more stronger way. You cannot move a lion around. So to the fire in Bayis Rishon, the Shechina was very strong amongst us. But Migdash Sheni, the fire wasn't so strong resting by us, but like a dog that you can move him around. And because the Kedusha wasn't so dovik in us like in Bayis Rishon. Fine. Then he goes on saying, that the fire in Bayis Rishon was like a lion. Rovetz like a lion. Not the shape of a lion, but the power of a lion. And in Bayis Sheni was Rovetz kekelev. There's something going on over here. Lefi shemigdash rishon nikra Ariel, that's its name, al shem Ari, after a lion. Vaya esh shelamala domeh Ari, ki migdash rishon b'shvil zchus Abraham. We know the three Batei Mikdash are connected corresponding to the three Ovis. That's a Chazal. Bayis Rishon is corresponding to Abraham. What's about Abraham? Ulefikach haya esh domeh la'ari shu liyamin min hamerkava. And in Sefer Yecheskel, the Ari is on the right side of the chariot, and Abraham Avinu is called Yamin. Again, this Kabbalistic things. What does it really mean? Chesed. The midah of Chesed that has to do with the lion. So the fire in Bayis Rishon had the strength and the power of a lion, the way it was crouching. אבל מקדש שני שהיה בשו"ס סוס יצחק, מקדש שני was in the merit of יצחק, ויש לשם דומה לכלב הנמשך מצד שמאל. Yitzchak is din, gvura, that's called small, and that's corresponding somehow to a kelev. Okay. ובית השלישי שיבנה במהרה בימינו הוא בסוס יעקב. Fine. ופירוש זה הוא אמס למבין. This is when the Rambam is referring to Kabbalah. He says this is emes lemevin. That what? That Bayis Rishon is under the merit of Avram, and it's called Yamin. Bayis Sheni is the merit of Yitzchak, and called Small. And now he adds something, which he doesn't say anywhere else. The Haven, now you'll understand, what were the 5 things, remember there were 5 things that we had in Bayis Rishon, which we did not have in Bayis Sheni? Aaron, Urim B'Tumim, Shechina, the Esh, the Luchos. 5 things. It's more in Yom Daf Kafal V'Mud Beis. V'aven lama היה מקדש שני חסר אורים ותומים, Aaron, Shechina, Esh, ולוחos. The kulam, all these 5, הם נמשכים מן האור. They have something to do with light. The word Aaron comes from the word or. And of course, Urim V'Tumim has to do with light. Esh, for sure. And the other 2 as well. Here he says something, which he doesn't say anywhere else. What does he say? V'yitzchak kohu einav. Steinhaus, you here? Maybe it was kohu einav a bisschen. You know, look at this inside. The morals say this he doesn't say anywhere else. It's 4 lines at the end of a Gurai, and a Gurai is the least safe, the least popular sefer of the moral. The moral like you don't learn Gurai. They go straight to the philosophical one. Here at the end of a shtickle in Gurai, he throws something which he does not mention anywhere else. The Yitzchak Kohu Einav, Yitzchak was blind. Oh, Kohu Einav doesn't mean exactly blind. What does it mean? Dim eyes. So he didn't see things clearly. So there was no or in Bayis Sheni. Mamma mia, chavre. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell it to you what I'm speaking about. I said it over once to Ramesh Shapir's itself. This man on the ground. Ramesh, who had the biggest tabana of Maral that I know of. He didn't know this Maral. He said, really? That's what the Maral says? Where? Because he knew if the next saw all this from he knew him. And Gurai also went through. But here you have to Shlomo let go and see the Yitzchak Ko Einav. Now Rabbi said, let's explain a little bit this Nakuda. Yitzchak had dim vision. That's like when Bayis Sheni was lacking the 5 things of Or. Now Rabbi said, let's go a little bit into this Nakuda. Again, I heard this from Ramesh Shapira. Ramesh Shapira once said, this goes back 35 years ago, that he always felt it, the following feeling I'm going to tell you now, but he never said it till he found a Bar Samcha that says it. What did he feel? Right, it says that Migdash Shilmata B'chuma Keneged Migdash Shilmala. Rashi says it in 2 places. In the Shira, Rashi says it, Konu Yodecha, and Zeh Shara Shamayim, Yaakov Avinu. Migdash Shilmala. Said Rav Moshe, I always felt that down here there's 3 Batei Migdash. Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, Bayis Shlishi. In Himmel, there's only 2. Bayis Rishon, when it was destroyed, immediately appeared Bayis Shlishi. There's no Bayis Sheni in El Yonim. That's what Moshe said. I'm going to explain to you in a minute why. He said, I was afraid to say it on my own. But I always felt that that's how it has to be. 3 down here, but in Himmel, you hear of David. In Himmel only, 2. Bayis Rishon, Bayis Shlishi. I was afraid to say it.
Sorry, why?
We'll explain why in a minute.
When one is destroyed, then there's 3.
So then the second one, then it's replaced immediately the other one. That's how it goes.
Now 3.
With number 3. And he said, I'll explain in a minute. He said, I was afraid to say it on my own. You see what kind of Adam Gadol he was. I felt it the whole time. But I was afraid to say it. But then I learned the Sefer Mishkanei Elyon of the Ramchal. Today was his yard side. And he says, Meferish, I saw it. The Ramchal in Mishkanei Elyon says exactly that point. And in Himmel, after Bayis Rishon went down, reappeared by Shlishi. But here we have Bayis Sheni, not in Himmel, not in the Shemayim. Now everybody said, what does this mean? What's the main difference between Bayis Rishon and Bayis Sheni?
5 things.
I'm sorry?
5 things.
Okay, that's the expression of the difference. But what is the difference?
Shekhinah was less.
Bayis Sheni is the Hanoga of Torah Sheba'al Peh,
Chesed versus
and Bayis Rishon is the Hanoga of Nevi'im. That's Yadua. That's the biggest difference. Bayis Rishon, the Hanoga, was conducted through prophecies and prophets. Bayis Sheni was Torah Sheba'al Peh. Like we all know, the beginning of Bayis Sheni is the Mahalach of Torah Sheba'al Peh. What does it say about Torah Sheba'al Peh? The Gemara in Sanhedrin in Daf Kaf Daled Amud Aleph was Shibani B'Mechashkim. That Kosh Baruch Hu had me sit in darkness. Says the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Mamash on the top of the page, Zed Talmud Shel Bavel. Torah Sheba'al Peh is trying to understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu in darkness. That's all what it means always. Rav Moshe Feinstein has to decide if there'll be an Erev in Manhattan, yes or no. What is he really speaking about? What's the issue? What does the Kosh Baruch Hu want? I mean, you can say it's the Pibigonim, the Chazanish, the Lassos. Erev, I understand, became a hot topic again. Sorry, I don't mean anything. I'm speaking what happened 40 years ago. More, right? You can ask Rav Moshe Feinstein. You know what a Kosh Baruch Hu wants? What, you're a Navi? You're a Ben Navi? How do you know what Hashem wants? But he swallowed such quantities and qualities of Torah that he knows what Hashem wants. But it's the sound of silence. The sound of silence. It's a song. There's a song called. Don't make yourself so from. You know the song. I'm sure you know it. You know the song. La 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 la. Simon and Garfunkel. The sound of silence. Right? It's almost a Jewish song. Torah Sheba'al Peh means, like Rafut wants to give a mashal. Torah Sheba'al, every time a person gives a shir to Talmidim, it's inevitable. From time to time, he has to pause. It's inevitable. A new thought hits him. He doesn't want to get the Talmidim confused, and he pauses. In fact, once I brought a tape recorder. I mentioned the story. When it looked like a regular cassette tape recorder. But it was new in those days, in the 90s, called voice activated. You remember? It had a little button on it. What does voice activated mean? That only when the lecturer speaks, it records. But a lot of times the lecturer is looking at his notes, and like 2 minutes go by without saying a word. So then you think to yourself, the listener, hey, what happened? Is it broken? What happened? I don't know. So it doesn't record those silences. It records the voice. Voice activated. So I was playing around a little bit with the button the first time. I wanted to make sure I got it right. So Rav Moshe asked me in front of 30 people, you sure anything special with that tape recorder? I proudly said, yeah. It's voice activated. Why's it voice activated? That only records when the Rav's going to talk. So he says, so the silences won't be recorded? I said, no. So the main part of the shir will be missing. That's what Moshe said. So Rav Hutner goes on that mashal and says, what's a good Talmud? That understands whatever the Rebbe says. That's a great Talmud. But who's even a more intimate Talmud? He understands the shtika of the Rebbe. Did you ever see that? I saw that in the mirror when I learned 1 year by Reb Nachum, his last functioning year. Reb Nachum would read a Gemara, a Rashi, and pause. Say nothing. And then went on. And the big Talmidim say, I know what was bothering him. I can tell you what he was pausing on. Because they knew him so well, they knew the way how he thinks, they knew it already. You know what's called a good couple? That they have, today, in the world that we live in today, if they talk to each other and understand each other, that's a murtic achievement. What, they talk and they understand each other? Gewaldig. But what's even a deeper level? That they understand the shtika. Torah Sheba'al Peh is to understand. It's in the dark. You're in the dark. And you still have to figure out what Hashem wants. That is the Hanoga of Bayis Sheni. There's no or. It's not revealed. Said Rav Moshe, how can you have not revealed in Himmel? In Himmel, everything's revealed. In the Tachtanim, things are hidden. Not there. There everything's begoli. So how could there be bayis sheni in Shemayim? It's not shaykh. But again, he said, I was afraid to say it out loud till I learned the Mishkan Elyon. And the Ramchal says it lehedya.
And the Bais Shishi representative of Yaakov.
Yeah.
So that's a mixture of.
Fine. Okay. Whatever that means. Good. But anyway, I'll call upon him. So that's what the Ram's alluding here a little bit when he says, by Sheni, the eyes of Yitzchak were dimmed. That's like when they didn't have the things of Or. There wasn't a Hanoga of Gilui. But this He'ara, the by Sheni were missing 5 things because it's corresponding to Yitzchak who had dimmed eyes. He does not say anywhere else. This is the only time. That's a murder to Kamalach. Remember, such an insight. You know, Chas V'Shalom, not that I'm coming to give compliments or Chas V'Shalom to G'dorei Yisrael and G'dorei Olam. Chas V'Shalom. That's a terrible chutzpah to give grades. But I could just say something else. Let me explain to you in a different way. I used to have a Rebbe in the Yishuv called Reb David Chadash, the brother of Rameir Chadash. Rameir Chadash is the non-Mashgiach, the father-in-law of Rabbi Mot Ezrachi, was Rameir Chadash. His brother. I'm sorry? The father of Aaron, exactly. The uncle of Aaron was my Rebbe in the Yishuv called Reb David Chadash. Also a tzaddik, a bal musar, a goin, the works. And I remember the first year that we came, he was already an elderly man. He said the Ramban says this, the Rashba says that, and the Rashba's right. So we looked at him. What? You're deciding between the Ramban and the Rashba was right or was wrong? And he said it again. And a different machlokes. That someone else was right. So he picked up that we didn't say anything. But he picked up that, he says, you're probably surprised that I'm saying who's right, who's wrong amongst Rishonim. Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah. I'll tell you shot. What the Ramban really meant, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, and the Rashba, Rabbi Shlomo ben Aded, what they really meant, you think I have a clue? They're 1,000,000 miles ahead of me. Literally 1,000,000 miles ahead of me. I don't have a clue what they really meant. Rather, it's my Ramban and my Rashba. So since they're both mine, I can decide who's right. That's what he said. I'm not deciding between the two of them. You think I'm crazy? I don't even know what I don't understand the Sichas Chunin. That's what he said. I would not understand the Sichas Chunin of the Ramban. So I can understand the Torah? Elamai, it's what little me understand. So once it's me, so I can decide which me is right. That's what he would say. Ma'ainz, I want to say like this. What in the Moral's Torah, we say as long as we go on, what's the thing that you see in one area, he's second to none? Again, the way I, Yeshua Hartman, the former basketball player, sees it. Zushtels. In that area, no one was like him. Parallels, cross references. You know, here, Yitzchak Kol Eino, so therefore Bayis Sheni doesn't, and Bayis Sheni is because of Yitzchak, so therefore that's what he's known for. These insights of Zushtels. How would you say Zushtels in English? Parallels? Cross references or something. I don't know how to say it. It's a word in Yiddish. I don't know how you say it in English. She doesn't. This like this classical example. Bayis Sheni is because of Yitzchak. He spoke about explaining why the fire was like a kelef. By the way, once we mentioned that Bayis Sheni is like Yitzchak, you'll understand that Bayis Sheni lacked the elements of Or, because Yitzchak Kohu Einav. That's classic. How much classic? Okay, I'll say. Let's go on to one more Nakuda. When it says Misa in the Torah Stam, the mess, Misa, so Gemara Tzedek says, what is it referring to? When it says Yigamu to Oven or Sakoli Saket, what you mentioned Rav Kaduri before, obviously that's Skila. But if it just says Misa Stam, so what is it referring to? According to one opinion of the Gemara, Chenek. Rabbi Anderson says Chenek. Why? Says well, because life is breathing, and Chenek is taking away the ability to breathe. Therefore, Stam Misa is Chenek. And every Misa at the end, he won't breathe anymore, unfortunately. But that's the result. But that the Misa is affecting directly the breathing, that's Chenek. Nevertheless, Rabbi said, give a look in the last Rashi here. Pasuk Tezvav, not the last Rashi, but towards the end. Perak Dal, Pasuk Tezvav. B'chila Aaron uvana b'lechasus l'kodesh. You know, they're about to go on a journey. They cover the kodesh, it's called klei kodesh, v'tzor machaneh. V'achechen yavo b'nei kas laset, and then b'nei akas are going to carry the kelim. V'lo yigu l'kodesh v'mesu. So what's the simple understanding of the pasuk? They're not going to touch the kodesh because it's already well covered, and then they'll die. Why should they die? Because they didn't touch the kodesh. So you have to learn the pasuk differently. So look at Rashi. Umesu, the last Rashi pasuk as well. She'im yigu, meaning the lo yigu la kodesh, and michlalav she'im yigu chavim misu b'nei shamayim. Meaning, how do I read the pasuk? So, right? Let's read the moral on this one. Baksion. Ki ein v'mesu dvukim lo yigu. Ki lama yu chavim misa. Ela peru she'im yigu v'mesu. Meaning, how do you read it? V'lo yigu la kodesh. Michlal lav atashomei. And what will happen if they will? V'mesu. The v'mesu is going on what will be if they will touch it. It's a little bit adocha in the pasuk, but that's how Rashi learns it. But the Rashi says it's a misa b'nei shamayim. Isn't stam misa chenek? So why is Rashi saying it's a misa b'nei shamayim?
Who knows that they touched it?
I'm sorry?
Who knows that they touched it? Knives themselves.
No. That's not enough. There's other Kohanim there. It could be Aidim.
They weren't there then.
It's it. Sweet. Okay. So the Maral says again something on the boy side. It's so gishmak. First of all, I'll tell you the second explanation that he says. How does Rashi know it? I never found, he said, I looked over in the whole pasuk of the Torah. I never found that it will say misas based in the plural, umesu. It says v'mes. It will never say it in the plural. Because even if it's 1,000 people, chas v'shalom, each one's judged individually. There's not one judgment for everyone. So why is it said in the plural? I'll read the Lashon Maral. V'od lo matzati because the misa is based in Lashon Rabim. I go through the whole Chumash. I never saw a plural on Misa's based in. Ela b'lashon yochid. Mipnei ki based in danin kol echad ve'echad b'fnei atzmai. The based in are judging each one individually. V'lo sheach b'din shlem umesu. Aval misi de shamayim, it could be a whole group together. Shu derech klal, sheach lomar ken. It's a Rashi that we know in Pashas Boy. V'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim b'alayla hazeh. והכרתי כל בכור, ועברתי כמלך עובר ממקום למקום, ובעברה אחת, וברגע אחד, כולם לוקים. One, they all died. To say plural on a misa has to be misa b'nei shamayim. So stam misa is chenek if it's Lashon Yochid. But if it's Lashon Rabbi, we can't say it's chenek because that's a rabbinical court. And if it's a rabbinical court, each one's judged individually. That's shot number 2. And then he said shot number 1 of Moshe, and with this we'll finish tonight. It's Murdik. Let me give you an example where the Maral says it earlier in Pashas Emor. You know what it says in Pashas Emor? Also there Rashi said Misim De Shamayim. Give a look. Perikah Bet, let's give a look. In Vayikra. Pashas Emor. Perikah Bet, it says Umesu Boy. Who wants to find it? Emor? Here. Pasuk base. Here. Pasuk Tes. Give a look in Perikah base, Pasuk Tes. In Pashas Emor. It's on page Shin Ayin Vav in the Chumash that I have. I think we're all of the same Chumash. Remember, Baruch?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does it say? V'shomu es mishmarti. The Kohanim, right? V'lo yisrael chet. Umesu boy. It's left of Kohanim. Ki chalulu. What are you talking about? Says Rashi. V'shomu et mishmarti. Milechol betruma seguf. It is the Kohanim. They cannot eat the truma when the truma seguf. Umesu boy. Says Rashi. Lamadnu she'imisa b'dei shamayim. Again, how does Rashi know? So again, you could say the same thing. It's plural. Umesu is plural, that's Misa B'dei Shemayim. But the other Mal says in here as well, another Deher. What does it mean, Umesu Bo? What does it mean? What does the Bo mean? How do we say? What are we speaking about? Don't eat the truma. The Shuklanim should not eat the truma when there's Tumas Aguf. But if they do eat the truma with Tumas Aguf, Umesu Boy, the Achila will kill them. They can only be Misa B'dei Shemayim. Misa B'dei Adam, it's not the Misa that kills. Because you still have to go to court, and you still need witnesses, and there's still a whole procedure that has to take place. And maybe he could do the Misa and he still won't die. Chil Shabbos. The based on could be maybe. That means automatically? It's not automatically. You need Eidim. And you need a Asra. And the Eidim have to come to court. And then they're interrogated very, very, very carefully, and you got to make sure there's no contradictions. And then if they were not Mukash and not Muzam, and then they're executed. So you can't say the Maisa kills them. It's not the Maisa that kills them. It's the Basin that kills them, based on the Maisa. But it won't happen automatically. When it says Umesu Bo, that means the Achila itself already kills them. That can only be Misa B'dei Shemayim. HaKadosh Baruch doesn't need what this is. HaKadosh Baruch doesn't need anything. And on the spot, he's Chai Misa. On Misa B'dei Shemayim, you could say the Maisa is what kills them. On Misa B'dei Adam, you can't say that. The Maisa could happen and he still won't be executed. For a variety of technicalities and procedures that have to take place. So if it says Umesu Boy, it has to be boy, meaning the Avera itself kills him. That's Misa B'dei Shemayim. That's what the Ral says there in Pas Emor. Okay? He's already Chayav Misa. There's nothing hinging anymore. No limbo. It's fine and decided because there's nothing to wait for. Nachon? Masha Enken, if it's a Misa B'dei Adam, it's not the Maisa. Rabbi said, I'll give you an example to this Svara. What's the chiluk between Chiyuv Knas and Chiyuv Mammon? And the Rabbi Kivega and Gidin Shas and Makkah, Tafei Amud Aleph, a very nice Rabbi Kivega there. And it's very known. What's the chiluk between if I break a window or if I stole something and I'm chayav kefel? So the second layer is called Knas. That's called Knas. The Karen, the principle, is called Mammon. What's the difference between the two of them? When I break a window, I'm chayav now. Just if I'm going to lie about it and deny it, so he'll have to schlep me to court and bring witnesses to say what happened. But the chiyuv is happening when I scratch your car in the garage. No one saw it. Am I chayav already that moment to pay you? Yeah, I can deny it. I could be a liar. I can run away as if nothing happened. You could do that, but that's immoral. The chiyuv is already done in there when the scratch was made. Not so by Knas. By Knas, the chiyuv is only made when they go to Beis Din. Therefore, moide b'Knas, Potter, because you're moide before the chiyuv kicked in. But you don't have moide b'Mammon Potter. On the contrary, that's Baldin K'mei Dami. You're chayav already. You just told me what already happened. Once the chiyuv kicked in, you're not Potter. Knas, the chiyuv didn't kick in yet. It only kicks in when Rav Yosef will sit with the Beis Din and make you chayav. It's not the deed that does it. We're dealing about the deed. It's a result of the deed, but it doesn't happen at the deed. That's what the Ral is saying here also. What's about our pasuk? Umesu Bo, I understand. You're telling me a misa of michlal hena tashomei alav? Meaning, if they don't touch him, if they don't touch the kli, they won't die. But if they do touch the kli, they will. To give a misa based on michlal hena tashomei alav? Somebody it's not automatic. If you treat the misa as automatic, it's definitely going to happen. That means it's Misa B'dei Shemayim. Because Misa's based in cannot happen automatically. And it cannot happen in a way of Michlal Hen at Tashomei Alav. Oh, here it's Michlal Lav at Tashomei Hen. If they won't touch the Kalim, nothing will happen to them. And you want them to die, and if they will touch, boom, they're dead. Who said? If it's a Misa B'dei Adam, who said? They're not dead yet. Such the same idea. It's the same principle. If you treat Misa as automatic, that means it's Misa B'dei Shemayim. Because Misa B'dei Shemayim, there's a whole bureaucracy and procedure that still has to take place. You can't say the Misa kills him. Based in later will judge based on the Misa, and then they're going to mechayiv him. But you can't say that it licked in the Maisa. It's mamish lit for shalom, this guys. That's how Rosh Yeshivas think. I'm serious. That's how we taught the yeshivas. Mamish, that's chiluk. So Rashi says in both cases, Misa b'dei Shemaim, whenever the Misa is given as a granted, it's for sure going to be, that means Misa b'dei Shemaim. But if it's Misa b'dei Beis Din, you still have a long list. It's months of interrogations to go. It didn't happen then and there. Okay, wait, so first of all, we should always be Zeichel L'chaim, Toivim v'harukim. But the point being is, Misa b'dei Shemaim cannot be said Agav Misa b'dei Beis Din. Agav Urcha, if this one happened, then you can't do it. It's a long procedure, a long process. Shema Yosef. You see how he's learning Pshat? That's goyness. That's goyness. Well, it's really explaining Rashi. That's what Rashi says. It's a Misa b'dei Shemaim. Umesubos says Rashi Laman. Hi, Stam Misa Chenek. But here, the circumstances show we're dealing with Misa b'dei Shemaim.
So that will fit in all the times as all the Misa b'dei Shemaim in the Torah.
Yeah. How many times does Rashi say Misa b'dei Shemaim? Not too often.
Found one here.
Where?
The Mishpatim Chof Aleph, Posuk Chof Tes.
Kaf Aleph, which page?
I was going to ask you because that's Lashon Yochid.
Which page?
Page Reish Lamed Aleph.
Reish Lamed Aleph. Which pasuk?
Chof Tes.
Kaf Tes. Which one is wrong? Ashori Sakeva Gam Bailav Yumas. No, because here we know it can't be. He didn't do anything. It's a different reason.
It's Lashon Yochid.
The Gam Bailav Yumas. It's Lashon Yochid. No, it's not a stira. You could say Lashon Yochid also, but you cannot say Lashon Rabbi on Beis Din. I don't think he means to say every time Misa b'dei Shemaim is mentioned Lashon Rabbi. Of course. And look what it goes on saying. Al Gitzichato Atal Go, V'Atal Go Gitzichot Sharo. Meaning, he's proving, I know that, how do I know that it's not B'dei Adam? From a different reason. So here the person doesn't echo it. But you're right, it's Lashon Yochid. The Gam Balav Yumas.
That's why Rashi needs to explain, as the Rav explained. The Rashi explains, even so. It's
Even so. But is it a kasha? No. You could mention Lashon Yochid. One thing for sure, you cannot mention Lashon Rabbi on Beis Din, because each one's judged individually. Okay, we say we want to wish the Chevah next to Wednesday night. It's 2-3 days before Shavuos. Yeah, fine. Be'ez Hashem. What? No, Shavuos is not here. The Wednesday I'm still there. I'm going to South Africa this time. It's the worst deal in the world to go Shavuos to South Africa. In England, Tikkun Leil is 2-3 hours. By the time you roll in, you roll out. By 3 o'clock, you start having Shachris, Shalom Balon. In South Africa, it starts at 8 p.m. and finishes 6 a.m. It's a 10-hour learning. Thursday. Yeah. Yeah. What? No, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Well, it's Thursday night already. No, you're 100% right. No. So next week, we're not here. Yeah, Be'ez Hashem. I know, maybe wishful thinking. People want me to go away for a while. No, I'm coming back. No, I'll let you know if I say, could be Rebecca? Am I going to South Africa Wednesday night or Thursday night? Okay, Wednesday night. Thank you. I'm not here next week. Thank you for asking.